Welcome everybody into Sports Extra, a special edition today, Halloween, going through everyone's homes and towns throughout the world. Joe, what up, man? If you didn't know, Joe's with me today. How is everyone doing? Joe, how are you?
I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling. Definitely a little tired and stuff, spent a lot of time with the fam this weekend. Spent a lot of time with, just friends and family this weekend. So, we're coming in a little, low vibrations right now. But I'm ready to get into some sports talk, man.
Absolutely. I mean, I got to say it's been a weird week of sports,
Weird is a word, yes.
Professional to local. As some of you may know, ISU Football time is coming through. I saw an insane game on Friday. I called the Franklin Community. Sorry, for some reason I'm thinking of Federal Hall here on campus. Right. Franklin Community took on Terre Haute South, and that game was so back and forth from the first half, and then Terre Haute South doesn't score a single point, and they lost by 1 point in the second half. They missed the the kick to win at the buzzer. So tough L. ISU football, high school football, and basketball
just fun.
Is so fun. I love it. I love getting to cover it. It's a good opportunity for everyone. Go support your locals. So,
shout out to them.
Well, Joe, let's talk about it. There is a lot to be discussed today, and we're just going to give you a little quick rundown of what we got for this Halloween edition of Sports Extra. As first off, we will be talking about the Indiana State football team.
Now that's scary.
That is scary.
Very scary.
Not in a good way scary.
No.
It's just like, oh my, scary. Like, what am I looking at scary?
Bar.
They lost 49-7. We'll talk about all that stuff and headline what's going on this weekend. Then we have basketball starting tomorrow, the first official, I guess you can say. It's an exhibition game, but me and my boy Blake, we're going to still call the game. We're the only team or people around Terre Haute that will be covering the basketball game live on the air, so you can listen to that here on 90.7. The game's at 7 p.m., so you can hear that one. They're taking on Tusculum. And then we're going to get into the pro level things. You know how we like to do it. Like about the Colts, and man, that Colts game, interesting to say the least.
To say the very, very least.
I wouldn't have really, even though the Pacers are losing, that's the final thing we're talking about. They're probably the most exciting thing we got going on.
That is true, especially Indiana-wise.
Yeah, I'd say
right
here.
Now, locationally, very interesting. Very
Absolutely,
exciting.
absolutely. Well, Joe, let us just, plant the seed, as I would like to say. Get us really in the mood.
Say plant the seed?
Yeah. Don't you know what that means?
I've never heard that expression in my life.
You've never heard plant the seed?
Plant. I thought you said playing the seed, and I was just like, excuse me?
I think you need to put that headset on.
Yeah, you're right. One ear is about to get put on. Yeah, for sure.
Planting the seed for what we're talking about.
Let's keep it pushing.
We're going to start with the Indiana State football team. The Sycamores, they lost this past Saturday in just a very bad way. The Jackrabbits scored a touchdown every single time their offense went on the field. And I mean every single time. They went 7 for 7, ending the game with 49 points. Quarterback Cade Chambers for ISU, he did not have a great game to what he has been, his recent outings. This one not his best, probably his worst to date, completing only 11 of his 24 attempts, adding 114 yards. He did have a touchdown, but it was very late into the third quarter. Shout out to Harry Van Dyne, the wide receiver who caught that. This is now his back-to-back first time having a touchdown in back-to-back games. So shout out him. Love to see that. Dante Hendricks, he just didn't do a whole lot. Justin Dinka didn't have a lot in the running game either. Just every part of this Sycamores offense was torn apart defensively by the Jackrabbits, and it shows on the offensive side for them. South Dakota State proving as to why they are one of the best in the Missouri Valley Conference. A very surprising team, if I would say so, just from a recent couple of years. Shout out to their quarterback, Mark Gronowski. We talked about it pregame. That just sounds like a football player.
Yeah, for sure. Amir Johnson, most definitely too. Shout out to running back for it.
Facts. We're going to get into all of that. He went in a very efficient 22 of 28 passing, 233 yards through the air, and he just, topped not one, not two, not four, but 3 passing touchdowns. Shout out to him.
My Atlanta.
It's a very typical game, is the way I could sum this up for both teams.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. When it comes to Indiana State, I don't know what has happened with the defense because especially when it comes to the secondary play And what we saw in the beginning of the season where the defense was at the very least sound or competitive, even in matchups where they weren't favored, especially when it comes to the Purdue game and then, other like earlier contests, the defense really was always there. It was always the offense that kind of struggled. When Gavin Screws was under center, it looked very stagnant. There wasn't really much excitement, but at the least, you'll get a few plays from the defense. I have no idea what's happened the last couple of games for Indiana State that it feels like a switch has just been like flipped for the defense. And I have no idea for the Sycamores. Yeah. It just feels like, there's no like real like initiative to really like, have that aggressiveness, assertiveness on defense to where they were sound with their coverage, sound with their containment, sound with their, pass rush and, making sure their spots are covered and like, making sure like that energy is there. It just feels like it was sucked out of them. And I have no idea why. It's like, again, just like Thanos snapped the, half of, the defensive roster out of existence for Indiana State. So I'm not sure what's happened. Like, I believe it was, I forget the team that they faced before homecoming, as I bring up the schedule here.
Before homecoming.
Before homecoming.
So that would be when 2 weeks ago.
Yes, when they dropped like a bunch of points on us. I'm totally blanking on the name, but I believe in that matchup, we gave up 45 points. And then the homecoming game, we gave
It was Youngstown State.
Youngstown State. And I feel like that was the game where just like everything just kind of hit the fan. And, you have the game right after that, you give up 21 points in the first quarter, for Indiana State going against Illinois. So I'm not sure what happened. And then now you give it up to Jackrabbits, which are a very, very good team. Don't
Absolutely.
Get me wrong. But, in just so many outings like this year, it just felt like the defense has just not been a non-factor. And this is something that's like, completely new when it comes to Brad Wilson defense and Indiana State football.
It absolutely blows my mind a little bit when you were alluding to how you allude to this like defense and just how they're just not built up to what they once were. Because when you go look in previous years and in seasons past, I mean, the defense has been the real identity of a Sycamore squad.
Yes.
And now when we find something on offense, we had some success. We were like, we weren't winning games, but there was something about how when Cade Chambers came into the middle of the season, there was like this new life given to the ISU football team.
100%.
I mean, we haven't seen this really from any running attack, and Dinka came in. I mean, replacing T. Hodge. He's done a good job. And then it's just not all adding up. You can't just have it all. You can only have one side of the ball working real well. As a Saints fan, I would know that really well. It's just weird that we can't have that success right now. I mean,
I agree.
What do you think?
It's just I feel like it's a lack of discipline sometimes on the football field specifically.
Yeah.
And it just feels like the spots aren't just getting covered. It's just like there's just a lack of focus and just like want to in the locker room, and especially when it comes to on the field, like they want to make that tackle, want to make that play, want to make sure that they go out every Saturday and put the best product on the field that they can. And I don't know where that really stems from. I'm not going to just go on here and just say like, oh, it's from here or that when I really don't know. However, it's coming from somewhere to where like it's just like this team just doesn't have any real, want to. Maybe it's just because they have lost 7 straight games and like, we're at the end of the season and people might want to just kind of get to this season done. But I feel like, when you're in a position, if you're a leader in that locker room, you want to have that, conversation with your guys and say like every game matters. Especially with football, you only play once a week. You have to make sure that these games matter and that you get the most out of them from a week-to-week basis. Even just practice to practice, you need to get the most out of it. And that's not just, for this season. It's probably not going to amount to nothing this season. However, those experiences that you get now, especially with a fairly young team with Indiana State, those are going to add up, especially like I'm a firm believer that momentum at the end of a season can lead you like, like into like with a wave of momentum going into the next season. Like, and that's pretty much with any sport. So if you could like, even like, I don't think this will happen, but if you can bang out 3 dubs, before this, season ends, just straight up, that would just be fantastic momentum for the program moving forward. But again, I have no idea what has happened, but it is what it is, and it's just kind of have to play the hand that you're dealt and just get out there with pads on Saturday.
Yeah, Joe, I mean, we didn't have that one year due to COVID. It was the 2020 season. Looking back on some of these, just a couple last years, ISU, 3-5 in 2019. We alluded to it earlier. Last year they were just 5-6, so they're going in the right direction. I mean, you can't really put the blame on the COVID season per se, but it definitely derailed something into this team, I think.
For sure. And it might be a thing with scouting. It might be a thing with, lack of preparation going in the season, or just a bad start to the season when it comes to the locker room and stuff. Obviously tragedy struck Indiana State here early in the season, and, you can't really foresee that.
No.
So it's, I don't know. Again, I don't know what it is, but, all I know is the reality, and Indiana State needs to get at least one more win before the season ends for it to be like at least something real you could take away from this. And I do think, again, Cade has been playing very, very well.
He has.
Given the situation that he has. Again, Jackrabbits, I don't know if I can, obviously this is his worst game as a starter for me. But, the Jackrabbits just have, a really good just offense, defense. They're just a really, really good team. I don't know if, what, you can really take away from that, competition-wise there. And honestly, throwing for, over 100 yards against that defense, is just that's something, at least. You know what I mean? You didn't throw for less than 114 yards, so there you go.
True.
And, he did throw for a touchdown, I believe, so that's something that you could take away. Justin Dinka, didn't really get it going. And, that's the other big point about Indiana State is the offensive line. Offensive line really needs to pick it up in a lot of areas when it comes to run blocking and just, overall just getting that push. Because if a hole is made, Justin Dinka is gone.
He can make it. We've seen it all season.
He makes so little out of he makes so much out of so little sometimes.
Facts.
It's honestly astonishing. Justin Dink is special. But, obviously it starts with a really good push. So, with Indiana State, you just kind of have to get some type of momentum before the end of the year. It needs to be just something for this Indiana State program because, again, it's not going to be setting a high bar for next year.
I think it's very possible that ISU can come away with maybe 2 wins. There's a tough game coming up this Saturday. I mean, any game is a tough game when you're 1-7. Either way.
Most definitely.
This game coming up, North Dakota. It's going to be a fun game. Definitely come out. If you can't come out, you can listen here. Next week, after that, November 12th, we play a winless Western Illinois team.
Yeah.
That's going to show to you, I don't know how pretty of a game it's going to be per se. I don't know. It could be the best game we've seen in the conference.
It's not. Stop.
We
Let me stop.
Hey, all I'm saying is when you see the Rams and the Chiefs play, there's something special. And sometimes when you see 2 bad teams play, they want to, they want bragging rights over that.
They think that they can win, so they can.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're not the worst. Yeah, I got you.
It's like the Falcons and the Panthers yesterday. That game went into overtime. That was a good game.
Hey, and to be fair, again, this is kind of alluding to what we're going to talk about when it comes to basketball here soon in the NBA. I mean, the Jazz, when you
literally
man, they play bad teams and they play good teams. They ain't got nothing to lose. That's some good basketball being played.
You know what I want to go as for Halloween next year?
Who do you want to go as? Coby?
It's not a who. What? It's the scariest thing in sports. Momentum. Momentum is the scariest thing.
Where's the buttons?
I don't know.
Just like the thunder and lightning.
Momentum is quite literally the scariest thing that can go off. You can be perfectly fine the first half, but as soon as something happens in the second half, it's gone.
That's the beautiful thing about sports. That is just so beautiful. And it's just it don't matter what happened within the other 100 minutes you might have played. That 1 minute, not even a minute, 10 seconds where something just goes so your way or so not your way that just defines the rest of the game. Can define the rest of a season.
Yes.
It's just so amazing.
And that's one thing I wanted to ask you, before we get on to the next topic.
Gotcha.
For this ISU football team, Joseph, what does this football team want their identity to be towards the end of the year? They have 3 games. They need something. What can they work on going into the offseason?
I'm going to keep it a Billy Wop with you here, Coby
What is that?
Clark.
I'm here.
Billy Wop. Just roll with it. Just roll with it. It's up to them. It's really up to them. Because what I've been seeing the last couple of games, it has been really the offense that's taken like the majority of the identity, because it looks like the offense really wants to win it. And, you know, I've questioned the defense and their drive a couple of times when it comes to what they put out on the field and stuff like that. But it feels like there's a few guys on the defense that could make a play, like we alluded to, could make a play that could change the rest of this season to make it look a little bit more bright, and then change the course of next season for sure.
Facts.
All it takes is one guy to step up. The number gets called, somebody goes down, somebody's sick one day, somebody's just having a bad game, so a change of player might be needed to where they step up and then total change. We've seen it already this season with Cade. You know what I mean? Where somebody just got his name called and changed the momentum of an entire unit on the field.
It just didn't translate.
It didn't translate. It hasn't translated to wins, and it hasn't.
That too.
You know, it hasn't translated to a lot of the teammates, like you said. But it still meant something. You know what I mean? They need just somebody, I feel like, on defense, but it could be on offense as well, that really wants it and really changes the whole face of what this season means and what this team is. It just takes one player. That's all it takes. One play.
You don't ever want to see anyone or anything give up.
100%. No.
You got to keep working. I mean, you just got to have that no mentality. I get it. It's hard. Tragedy was awful this year at the beginning of the year. You're losing 7 games in a row now. I mean, your season can't be defined off of a week 1 win where you won by 3 points.
Yeah.
In a very low-scoring affair.
And a game that honestly could have easily went the other team's way.
Absolutely.
So, that shouldn't be the one game that you win. And really, every Saturday going forward is going to be who won it more.
The closest game all season long, besides the win, of course, has to be it's easily the Youngstown State ISU game. But we went on a good stretch. Like, we were putting up points.
Yeah, it's like, starting with Northern Iowa, where we only lost by 6 points. Go to North Dakota State, a fantastic, still like probably the most entertaining.
That was a good game.
ISU game that I've watched with my own eyes. Right, you lost 31-26, and then
still close.
And that's close again with Youngstown State, 48-42, and then Illinois State, 27-21, and then now 49-7.
This is probably the biggest gut punch I've seen. Like, there's so many things that you could be taking away from this, and you just don't want all the negativity.
And to be fair, to ISU's credit, if there had been like one different call, like when it comes to the refs, or like just one like play, like they were literally just one play. Again, one play away, and these like 3 of these straight games that we just named out. Like, honestly, 4 of these games that we just named out. If there were just one thing that just changed, and just a couple of them, we would have been looking at maybe 2, maybe even 3 more wins in this series.
Absolutely.
However, again, it's about who won it more. And then ultimately, when it comes to those plays that would decide the winner, the victor of those Saturday games, the other team wanted it more.
It's unfortunate.
Very unfortunate.
It's just so tough. I mean, everyone wants to see the team succeed. You don't ever want to be you never want to be like in what the Pacers are doing right now, a rebuild. You don't ever want to see the team fail and lose, and then, we got to wait a whole other, 8 months for them to do it all over again. No, you want your team to win. It's just unfortunate we can't have that good luck right now. We'll have to see how the season holds up.
I really hope these guys get it together for sure. I
think they can.
I want to see them celebrate. I want to see them get some type of joy and not just kind of this kind of dread or this black cloud that feels like this over this team. Ever since the beginning of the season, I want them to have the sunshine show on the field of Memorial Stadium just for one more time at least before the end of this season, especially for these guys.
Hopefully that will come this Saturday. As myself, Kobe Clark, and Blake Simpson will have that call November 5th at 1 p.m. for a kickoff. Pre-game show will be about 12:45 p.m. as well. Shout out to the Indiana State football team. Good luck onto the season. So let's convert now and translate this on over to see some men's. We'll talk about some men's real quick, and then we'll take our breaks after that. Men's basketball team, women's basketball team as well. We're only going to really focus on the men's because their game's the closest. I mean, if the women's game was tomorrow, we'd talk about that obviously more as well. But the men's team, it's a brand new year for Indiana State basketball. The Sycamores, they're opening up their exhibition season against Tusculum University tomorrow, which is November 1st. The tip-off will be at 7 p.m. It's going to be at the Holman Center. I mean, you can listen to it right here on Z90.7. We'll have a pregame show about 6:45 p.m. These are familiar opponents for ISU. If you didn't know, Josh Schertz, former head coach of Tusculum. He was there for...
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, because I could have swore like ISU had some type of connection, when I, recently and stuff. And okay, thank you for doing that because that was eating me up in the back of my mind.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I read this wrong.
No way.
I did.
You lied to me.
He's played them a lot, but he was the head coach of Lincoln Memorial.
One sec. I swear there's a player on.
We have 4 players that have connections to Tusculum.
Oh yes, Trenton Gibson. That was a previous school of his.
Yes.
That was a previous school because he's a graduate. Yeah.
Trenton Gibson, Xavier Bletson, Cameron Henry, and that's a name I don't know how to pronounce. It's Macaulay. It's hard to pronounce his first name. I'll work on it for tomorrow.
Oh man,
so.
Yeah, we gonna get that straight. I was gonna try. I'm not gonna try.
No, I'm not gonna try it. Out of the respect, I'm not gonna try. But yeah, I mean, apologies. Schertz, he is 29-4 lifetime against the Pioneers, stating it dated all the way back to the 2008 season. So we were like 6 or 7 when he was playing this team, and now he's getting that chance. He's brought players up with him to Indiana State.
Shout out to him.
I mean, Trenton Gibson, he went there, so he's got to he has that offense and defense locked. If he played there for 4 years and then brings it on over to a team that's playing him, exhibition games. This is more of an identity. You always want to go out there and prove to everybody that, hey, we're not who we are last year. We're going to be different this year. There's excitement around this men's and women's team that I think both of them are going to be strongly starting out with on the year. And I think you all just really need to go show out and support this 100%. Team. I think they have a good shot at not just, winning a lot of games. I think they could definitely make some noise in the Missouri Valley.
Yeah, make some noise is exactly what I was going to use because with this team, it's a good mix of people who are experienced with the program, experienced with just college basketball in general, and then some young guys who can bring that fire, that hunger, like a lot of freshmen, have. You got Rob Martin, you have Jaden Skirts, you have
Larry's back.
Isaac Holmes, Larry's come back. And
Cooper Neese.
Roddy Olivia. Work on that, Roddy.
It's hard to pronounce a lot of names.
Roddy, shout out to him. But yeah, there's so many guys who are new and then older. We have a handful of graduates, we have a handful of juniors, we have a handful of seniors, and just upperclassmen in general who are experienced in their own program or experienced in Indiana State program as a whole. So with this squad, there's just a lot of excitement. I'm really happy to see Xavier Bletson back. He was one of my favorite players to watch. Same with Stevens. Stevens has just been really solid for us, ever since he came back up, with the head coach and everything. So I'm really excited to see these guys, and especially the sophomores, because a lot of the sophomores last year when they were freshmen didn't really get a whole lot of opportunity to really show themselves, and I feel like they do have a whole lot of talent, a whole lot of bag that they can show out. So Indiana State is going to have a really, really fun. I'm really, really excited to watch these games, comment these games, and, report on these games. It's going to be really, really fun.
Yeah, I mean, there's something about, there's football season. There's baseball season.
Word.
Then there's basketball season at Indiana State. Everyone knows this school is a basketball school.
Facts.
And I think it's about time that we finally get back to where we once were.
Most definitely.
I think this team has something, very special. We mentioned it and alluded to earlier. They're bringing back a lot of players. There's a lot of players who never got a lot of playing time. That's going to be getting their name called. Cooper Neese, Cameron Henry, Cale Stevens, Julian Larry. They're 4 former starters.
Yeah.
Going back. I mean, that's connection and chemistry. That you just can't teach that. That's something you learn on the court every day, in and out of the locker room, going to Topgolf, bowling, whatever you want. That's something you're building with a family.
Yeah, and our head coach is really good at what he does when it comes to chemistry.
Facts.
Because there were so many just kind of connections between the players that you could see off the court when it comes to press conference and stuff. You can kind of see him joking in the side rooms or whatever. We're going into the locker room, at the press conference table and stuff. And then back to on the court. You know what I mean? There were so many plays where I'm like, okay, Cooper Neese is on the floor. And you got to look out for so and so because he's about to pass it to him. And then you have just so many little connections. Whenever people are coming in on floppy routes or going in for pick and rolls, you kind of have an instinct to where you see the guy's eyes just shoot over to the one guy in the corner and stuff that you know is going to be open.
Great vision this team has.
Yeah, it's fantastic vision. And I really think that's what basketball is now. It's about shooting. It's about ball movement, especially when it comes to the offensive side of the ball.
It's very obvious in NBA.
Yeah, especially when it comes, especially NBA is full of it, full of it. And then you get to some of these, programs like Indiana State where like a lot of the really good teams are defined by how well they move the ball, how well they shoot, and how well they, move as a team. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, it's just going to be really fun. And the one question I do want to have for you
Let me hear it.
What do you think the identity for Indiana State is going to be on the
Oh, you threw it back at me, just a different sport.
Yeah, I just had to. You know what I mean? Because, like, I'm kind of battling this with myself because there's a lot of guys who are, really good interior players. There's some guys who are like, obviously really good shooters and stuff. Indiana State had one of the best shooters of all time come out, graduate from here. So like, we have a lot of like different guys with unique abilities, but what is going to be the one thing that unifies us as a team, do you think, going into the season?
I've talked about it before, and I really do believe it. It's balance.
Balance.
I feel like this team has a great balance on every portion of the court. I think we have the shooting. You mentioned it, the ball movement. We brought in some more rebounding. There's playmakers on this team that didn't get to shine like they did last year. There had to be more. It was more focused towards other players. But this year, we don't run no isolation. We're not running like a one-man and then spread out the floor ISO. This team loves to just get to their spot, pass the ball, move the ball around, and that's what I think this team will be defined as. They're so unselfish, and they're going to prove that. I mean, if you would have gone to the tip-off in the Forest on Thursday, you would see that this team is laughing, having fun. That's what sports is really all about.
It really is, man. That's a bar. And I think, like you said, there's so many guys that are, like that in this squad,
Facts.
Like you have Cameron Henry.
Everyone knows the role also.
Facts, exactly. That's a big thing. That's the biggest thing when you have unity is just know what you do. You know what I mean? Like if I'm not looking for, Stevens to ISO on the perimeter and, take his guy to the hoop and then score like, 3-4 times a game. I'm not looking for that. I look for Cameron Henry might be able to do that.
Yes, he can.
Use his size, use his ability, because that's something that he does and he knows his role. Now, if you get people who are outside of the role, not moving as a team, just confusion in the locker room, and then that just translates on the court, you're going to have a bad team and you're going to have those lapses in judgments when it comes to plays and stuff. So, it's just very interesting just moving forward with the squad because, they have some guys. They have some real guys, and this is going to be the first year in a long time where we don't have, Tyreek Key and stuff like that. So there's
Tennessee now.
Yeah, shout out to him, man. Shout out to him. Chase your dreams, bro.
Do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, and like it's going to be really interesting because there's a niche for this squad, and somebody has to step in and fill it. You know what I mean? Like Tyreek Key was that veteran leader. He was a veteran leader who would get you a bucket whenever you need to. Who's going to be that guy? Who's going to be the guy to go to when it's, 60-60, 20 seconds left on the clock? Somebody needs to take the last shot. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's the niche that, Tyreek Key would fill. So it's interesting. There's a lot of questions, but I feel like Indiana State and this team, this group of guys have some answers.
I don't want to make this like a bad example, but an example of a leader that has been on this team has seen some good teammates go and then go, like they've come through here, then go.
I know what you're about
and
to
then,
say.
What am I going to say?
You're going to say Cooper Neese, right?
Yeah. I was going to compare him to Dwayne Wade. In a way that Wade was on a good team, and then, he gets the best player in basketball, and he has good teammates, and then they go away.
Okay.
Something like how Tyreek Key was. Tyreek Key came here, they were good together, and now Tyreek's gone. Now it's time for someone to step up.
Yeah, I mean, like, no. But I know where you're coming from.
I should have just not dropped names.
You shouldn't drop names, for sure.
It will never correlate.
But, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like, a guy who's, like, seen teammates come and go and stuff like that. I would say, like, somebody like Lance Stevenson or something like that.
That makes sense.
Who's had, like, good teams and stuff like that.
But he's never been, like, the number one.
That's true. But do you think Cooper Neese is going to be the number one?
I mean, he's proven. Why not? I mean,
that's true. I mean,
why not? I would love to run my offense through a shooter like that, but I feel like Bledson, Larry, they know the system. There's nothing wrong with that. Bledson, I think he'll come in and be good.
Bledson obviously is like one of those guys who just like, I feel like it's just consistent. Like, I've never seen like a play from Bledson where I'm just like, what is happening? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
He's going to be like, and especially with Cooper Neese, and that's funny you bring it up. I love the connection between Bledson and Cooper Neese whenever they were on the floor. It was always so fun because like they would just look for each other. It was like that connection again. They would just look for each other. And then there were so many plays where I forget who it was, but there was like a play where Bledson was around like the top of the key, probably around the free throw line, had the ball, was posting him up or whatever. But he was more just kind of looking for some guys or whatever. And Cooper Neese just right off of a screen from the other side. Bledson didn't even really need to look his way. Just like out of peripheral, bing, bong. Like, man, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Neese is like that. He will come around anything. Man. He's kind of like Curry in a way, like run away and just try to get open. Yeah. But he could do his own thing. He could dribble and get to the rim.
He has a handle. He's like, because like each year that I've been at ISU, I've seen something new from Cooper Neese.
He's learned a lot.
Yeah, he was like initially kind of just like a shooter, kind of spot up. And then like, last year he put the ball on the floor a lot more and like, try to create his own thing. And then I'm so excited to see if he just pulls it all together just even more or he adds another, aspect of the game to
Absolutely.
Himself. I'm so curious to find out what he does. But yeah, again, like him and Bledson, who is now listed as a guard, but I think he's probably going to play more of that, kind of, small forward.
Point forward.
More of a,
exactly. Yeah, that's
exactly,
a good.
Exactly.
This is basketball's positionless nowadays.
Facts.
We see Victor Wembanyama, taking people off the dribble like nothing.
Yeah,
so.
shooting fading corner.
We have 7'3" people shooting fading corner threes. This world is broken.
It's broken. It's glitch, man. There's just so many glitches, and I'm here.
He's your pacer too.
Yeah,
shout out better. Can't wait to see him.
Can't wait to see you. Yep, my family-in-law, man. I love it.
You never told him that story.
Yeah. We're going to keep that. Hey, uncut tomorrow.
We're supposed to have uncut last week, but
technical issues
within the station prevented it, and we just couldn't find a good time. We're both busy. We're both students. I have a whole other job too, so
exactly, man. Hard. Yeah, Kobe Clark is one of the hardest working people at the station for sure.
Stop that, Joe. You work way harder than me.
Yeah, not like you, man. Especially when it comes to station stuff, you're really good.
Appreciate that.
But yeah, man, like again with this ISU basketball team and even moving to the women's a little bit, like, it has like a new energy because it's the second year with the new head coach where Indiana State, we had a women's basketball team, but we ain't really have a women's basketball team. We had a lot of girls that, could play really, but it just wasn't really like a team. You know what I mean? And what it felt like with name.
Williams?
No. The head coach, women's.
Killinger.
Thank you. I knew it was something with a K. And, what he's done is he really brought this team together and, it's made them felt like an actual university sports organization, finally.
Facts.
Actual program, and he started to build that. Again, the bar wasn't really that high, from years past. However, you can kind of see, the way these girls played and stuff like that. They wanted to, change around what the organization was, what the program was from what it was in the past. And they wanted to win games. They wanted to compete and to be a really respectable program. And so I'm excited to see what it brings now because they, brought some people in. They have a lot of returning girls and stuff like that. And I'm just very curious to see what they bring.
I am too. And there's sort of a thing where, the men and the women both finished the same exact record last year, at 11-20.
I forgot about that.
There's got to be a friendly competition between them. I think we're going to do better than you. Yeah. And I thrive for that stuff. You can build off confidence, and that's even better. Chemistry doesn't have to be built within the team. It could be without some outreaching sources as well.
100%.
And I think if one ISU team's going to do good, the other one. There's been previous years like Louisville, they've won the NCAA tournament, men's and women's in the same year.
Yeah.
That
energy.
There's another example. I think Butler did the same thing. Or not Butler, UConn. It was UConn.
It was UConn.
Yes.
It was UConn.
I got the colors in my head, navy blue and white. I said Butler, my bad. But yes, UConn, Louisville. That's kind of cool. Will that ever happen here? That would be insane. We would be freaking out.
We would be especially us in the sports department, please. We have so many basketball fans here. If Indiana State pulled together a back-to-back, women's and men's just super hyper successful
I'd freak
season, Oh my gosh, I would jump.
That'd be fun.
All right, man, I'll do some irrational things. We don't even need to get into that what I do, but
Exactly.
it's gonna be crazy.
Last thoughts on the topic of ISU basketball, men's and women's. We got 20 minutes left in the show. We still got to get into some Colts and Pacers. I think get on out of here. Enjoy the holiday, Halloween. Ooh. I am super excited for this team. I'll be honest. I'm more excited. I've been so excited for this more than like anything in my life in sports. Really, I look forward to more the ISU team than I do Saints on Sundays because I feel like there's just something here. I really do. No one's gonna be like, oh, we have to be. They're gonna be like real professional about like, oh yeah, it's ISU. They're not gonna be good. I really do have a full head of belief that something could be coming from this squad. Mark my words. I really do.
Something really special is going to be happening.
I do. I do think so. Really think so. Please go check out the Holman Center. It's almost renovated. It's almost at 100%. I think it's at like 98%. Like, it's awesome.
Look good.
It looks insane.
Look good. Look like a bacon, egg, and cheese. It look good.
Oh, I don't like egg. I'll be honest.
You don't like egg?
Yep.
What?
That's a hot take.
Bro, we going to talk about this after.
Egg's not good.
We going to continue this on Uncut, bro.
Sorry, man.
Disappointing.
Hey, Uncut will also be a new time tomorrow. We usually do it from 4 to 5, but with the basketball game tomorrow, we're going to do it from 3:30 to 4:30 on Twitch at WZIS-FM.
You know what it is.
Yes, sir. We're going to take a quick break right here, get into some Indianapolis Colts and some Indiana Pacers. I think we talked a lot about ISU real quick here. I mean, it really needs the focus, and I think the football team, it's unfortunate how things have gone. I hope they figure it out, hopefully this Saturday. I think the men's and women's team, something is going to be coming from this year, and it's going to be proven very early in the season. Let's find out. We're going to be right back with some Colts and Pacers talk and get on out of here. You're listening to Z90.7 WZIS. We are back live here on your favorite Indiana State University sports talk show, Sports Extra, hosted by me, Coby Clark, and my man over there, Joseph the Lawn Moore.
Let's get it.
We got some talks to get through before we get on out of here tonight. We're going to start off first with some Indianapolis Colts. No Matt Ryan, as this time last week, breaking news came from there. He was going to be sat out the rest of the season.
Tisk.
Very interesting to see how that was going to play out. It was going to be second-year quarterback from Texas, Sam Ehlinger. He's taking his reins, first start in the NFL. Unfortunately, it wasn't the prettiest of debuts. It wasn't awful.
It wasn't,
but it wasn't great. He didn't play an amazing game. We're not expecting him to look like Patrick Mahomes. So the Commanders did win a close one, though, 17-16. As Sam Ehlinger, he got his first start, threw for 201 yards, threw for $1 over the 200 amount right there. 17 of 23 passing. I mean, that's very efficient, especially when you've been working with the twos all year long. You get your first work with the ones, come out on a Sunday afternoon, looking all right. It just didn't really translate. No touchdowns, but he didn't have any interceptions, so that's a dub as well.
That's a good thing as well. Yeah, and I like how they kind of kept it simple with him. They didn't try to do anything extracurricular. And like from him, for his performance as well, he looked okay.
I would say very okay.
Very, very okay. Like, again,
room for improvement.
A whole lot of room for improvement. And that's just not even just like Sam himself. This whole Colts team just has a whole lot of room for improvement. Like, Sam is kind of the embodiment of this Colts season so far. Okay. Like mid, like average, C minus. Like, what is we doing? You know what I mean? You have a player like Jonathan Taylor, we keep on saying his name, Jonathan Taylor. I'm confused if Jonathan Taylor even exists to the head coach of this team. Like, Frank Wright, do you know who this guy is? Like, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, does he exist to you? Like, Like it's just preposterous to me. Like you have a new quarterback who's obviously, this is his first start, debut, and you have a player like Jonathan Taylor in the backfield that just to get Sam incorporated and stuff, run a little bit more than average, which is what feels like most head coaches would do. That would be the play that would be called. But, only rushing for 16?
That is insane.
Insane, right? Am I crazy?
76 yards not bad.
So, 70, you're averaging basically 5 yards a carry. You know what I mean? So, it's not like Jonathan Taylor was playing bad by any means. You know what I mean? Just run him more to get that physicality and stuff like that, just so you can have him have the opportunity to make plays. Honestly, if I'm willing to bet, I feel like Travis Etienne had more carries.
You want to put
than John?
You want to prove that?
I put money. I'll put $5 on right now that Travis Etienne had more carries.
Are you 21?
I am not 21.
No betting.
Oh, you're right. My bad.
You think Travis Etienne?
I'll bet one Starburst candy
against the Giants. Travis Etienne ran 14 times.
14.
You're
he
wrong.
Ran 14 times?
You were wrong.
You're lying.
Joe, I'm not.
I felt so many more. Oh, man.
But he had a way better game.
Though.
He had a way better game.
Yeah, but he had a way better game, for sure. But yeah, Travis Etienne, and Jonathan Taylor should not have, close to, a 2 carry difference in, a game like that.
I mean, to be fair, he doesn't have, James Robinson. That's beyond the point. Jonathan Taylor is the best running back in the NFL when his head coach wants him to be.
When he wants him to be, exactly.
It's not when Jonathan Taylor wants to be. It's when his head coach decides, who's that guy?
28.
28?
Oh.
I guess we'll give him.
He looked
Running back.
right.
I didn't know about that. He could run the ball. I guess hand it off to him and see what he got.
Yeah, exactly. And so, again, I'm not sure, though.
How many yards did he have last year?
Yeah, exactly. Man, wait, he was on our team? Wait a minute. Hold up.
Where's Andrew Luck?
Damn, exactly. He just wakes up wait. Just oh my goodness. It's like a horror movie, just waking up in 3 years.
Imagine waking up and just Andrew Luck's on the team tomorrow. What would you do?
I'd be so happy. You have no idea.
I think everything from my life. That'd be insane.
Because I loved Andrew Luck. I love watching him play. Because what he is now, what he meant for me back then is what Josh Allen means for me right now. For me. Because, it's just another, big, tall, semi-physical athlete who can, he has wheels, he can run, he can pass. He's just, the complete, just sturdy package when it comes to pause. When it comes to, going forward with, with the offense and stuff. So, it's just, really good, to have, a player like that. That player does not, become available to you often.
No.
So that's what I really liked about Andrew Luck. So I would be so happy. But on a real note, I'm not sure if it was because he's coming off of a semi injury or I'm not really sure, because it feels like whenever there's a situation like this, there's something that the front office is holding back from us.
I will say, Jonathan Taylor did leave the game in the first half due to an ankle injury.
He did leave. Okay.
So he was limited. He was on quality, quantity, whatever.
True.
But he did return. He did come back, and he tried his best. I mean, what can you really do? I mean, it's not even Taylor. 16 carries compared to what everyone else is getting. Sam Ehlinger ran the ball 6 times.
6 times.
Naeem Hines, our RB2, ran it 5.
Yeah, Naeem Hines is nice.
Yeah, touchdown, so.
He's nice. He's, Naeem Hines is a very solid.
He can backflip in the end zone. That's cool.
For sure. I wish I could do that. Please, if I tried, I'd break my neck so fast. But yeah, again with the Colts, I don't really know. I feel like at this point, most Colts fans are just kind of it's just a season. We win, we win, we lose, we lose. There's just so many just. What's the word? Just indifference.
I like that.
Indifference to this team right now. There's no real hype behind it. There's no real hate necessarily, but it's just kind of ugh, it is what it is. But when it comes to the Commanders, though, one of my favorite young players right now.
Let me hear it.
Is Terry McLaurin.
Oh, shout out the Cathedral standout.
He is just nice. He was from Cathedral. He's from Indy.
You didn't know that?
I did not know that.
How does everyone not know that?
You the high school guy here, though.
True.
You're the high school guy, so you wouldn't 100% know that. I'm just here. You know what I mean? But you feel me? So but what I've seen from him this season has been really, really special. What he's been able to do on the field has been just absolutely stunning, and the Commanders really have a piece with him, moving forward. I'm not sure. Taylor Heineke, he's okay. I don't think he's really the answer.
He's not a starting quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think he's the answer for quarterback for sure.
They don't have the answer. I don't even think Carson Wentz is the answer.
Yeah.
Something's going on. They have a whole other issue with Dan Snyder as well.
Yeah, again, Commanders are kind of an enigma. You know what I mean? I don't really know what they're a mystery. They're, just this team that's kind of just, you have like a lot of young pieces and stuff, but like it feels like the front office is failing to really like bring it all together. Just put the bow on it. You know what I mean? Put the icing on the cake.
This quick funny story. Mm-hmm. If you go back to my high school radio days at Ben Davis, shout out WBDG, I said on my sports talk show there that the worst ran sports team it wasn't the Commanders at the time, but yes, Washington football team. I mean, and I was right. And I think they are the worst still. Yeah. It's been 3 years since I've said that.
And I don't know what it is. Again, like I'm not a front office person. I don't know the ins and outs. Normally when you have like a perpetually bad, ran like franchise, it's kind of trickles down from the ownership. You know what I mean? That's kind of like my belief. Like it's really hard, if not impossible, to have a really good organization with a bad owner.
Absolutely.
So like, I feel like it is probably from ownership. But again, that's, it could be a couple of different reasons. But again, watch the Commanders, have some guys and stuff. And, moving forward, Terry McLaurin is one of them guys.
Absolutely. 100%. Shout out Brian Robinson as well. This man got shot before the season started, and he's out here playing.
He had one of the coolest videos ever. Like I've seen.
Oh, what was the song?
Many Men by
that's a banger.
50 Cent. Many Men by 50 Cent. Just like coming out of the tunnel with that.
That's so hard.
That was so hard, man. Like love to see it. You love to see it.
Perfect.
You hate to see it because he got shot, but
absolutely,
you love to see that he's back and he's playing the game that he loves. You always are. But yeah, like when it comes to like moving forward with the Colts, you're going against the Patriots. The Patriots is not going to be easy.
They're in a weird predicament too. They don't know if they want to start Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi, and I think the answer is Mac Jones. I like Mac Jones.
I don't know the answer. I wouldn't call Mac Jones the
I think he is. Why is he? No one is the answer when you're talking about Tom Brady of all people. I think Mac Jones will give you solid years in New England. I think that he can be the guy in New England, not the guy. Like he's not going to be showing you all. Like he's not going to be the quarterback of the NFL. He's not Pat. He's not even Josh Allen. He may not even be Zach Wilson.
Word.
But I think Mac Jones brings something to work with. I like him. I like Nick Saban, what he did with him. Mm-hmm. I'm liking how he went from Nick to Bill. That's insane.
Yeah.
So there's already something there.
For sure.
I think Mac Jones has the tangibles and the work ethic. I think he really does care, and it shows.
Yeah, I feel like there's a ceiling on how good a Mac Jones-led team is.
I don't think there is, though.
I feel like it is. It's just like, I don't feel like Mac Jones has the bag like this, the it factor when it comes to like winning an actual Super Bowl.
But you know what I mean? Only in his second year. He just came off an injury.
That's 100% true. That's 100% true. But the games that I've watched with Mac Jones playing hasn't been like, oh, this guy's something special. Like,
I hope he throws for 400.
Shout out to him. I hope he does too.
I think he will now. We're talking about
like, of course. It's that commentator curse, obviously. But yeah, like, I just don't feel like he has that it factor. I've never like sat down and just thought something special of Mac Jones. But I always kind of felt like he was like a system QB. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like he was just kind of like, oh, he can pass the ball, and then he just has like a really good system around him. Players that know the system, a coach that built the system from the ground up, that just able to, and he's able to work with it, so he's able to just work out on the field.
Think about this
personally.
Where on this New England team is there anyone special?
Jacoby Myers is nice.
He's not gonna throw him on any other team. He might be the wide receiver 3.
I mean, fair.
He's not a wide receiver 1.
I don't think he's a wide receiver 1, but I feel like he's, a very, very solid 2.
If he goes to Philadelphia, he's a 3. If he goes to Cincinnati, he's probably the 4.
He gets it done in the end zone, though.
He does. He's reliable.
He's very reliable.
But there's no difference maker there.
I 100% know what
you can't put all the blame on Mac.
Yeah, I'm not putting all the blame on Mac. I'm just saying, like, when it comes to, like, say you have just kind of the perfect situation, you have guys who are one of the best in the league, a defense that knows his identity, obviously you have the head coach, and, just have a team that, has the 1-2 and has the ability to win the Super Bowl.
Yes.
I just don't think that, like, with Mac Jones at quarterback, it's going to get it done.
Understand.
You know what I mean? Because I just feel like there's just a cap. You might have, like, I feel like you have a cap, but I feel like you definitely have a high floor with Mac Jones, if that makes sense.
We can talk about it more tomorrow if we want. But coming up, the Patriots and the Colts, huge rivalry, dating back to the Peyton Manning and Tom Brady days, Deflategate. That was with Andrew Luck. I mean, these two teams, historically, one of the best rivalries outside of a conference, without a doubt.
Fair.
And they're going to show that this Sunday, hopefully. It may not. It may be a very far stretch from Brady and Manning, but hey, we're still gonna get it. Sam Ellinger and Mac Jones.
Man, part two.
Hey,
man.
Hey, there's one thing that's never been gone from that. Bill Belichick.
Constant.
He's never leaving. Good luck to the Colts. They're having a tough year. It's real tough.
Yeah, real tough.
Injuries. I mean, poor play,
poor
coaching,
bad coaching, just like really unlucky for in some sense, for sure.
True.
It's just tough scene, very tough scene.
Last thing we have on the schedule today before we get on out of here for you guys, NBA, the Indiana Pacers.
Oh my goodness!
Over the weekend, pretty stellar win over the Brooklyn Nets, but it came at a loss as it was against the Washington Wizards. I've always found this weird. They've already played the Nets and Wizards once this season. Yeah. Just playing them again. And now they're playing Brooklyn again tonight.
Yeah.
Or maybe it wasn't Brooklyn they're playing 3 times, but they're playing them back-to-back in the same location, which is I always find odd.
I don't know. They've done like a weird thing with the schedule of the NBA recently with like, they're kind of moving away from like, play the 4 teams in your conference and then like play, it's weird.
I'm down for it. I mean, as long as it works.
Cool, whatever. Obviously conferences don't really matter in the NBA, but
True.
But yeah, like the Pacers, my love.
What do you love so far from this team this year? And why is it Benedict Mathurin?
I love Benedict Mathurin. And I love just everything about him, from the way that he approaches the game, his mentality, the way he plays, the way that he's like, just like a dog in the locker room.
He's a dog,
like
dude.
He's just a dog.
He's like so young and good.
After it, and I feel like that's something we need. I felt like the last 2 years, Kobe Clark, the last 2 years, we have got stuff that we have not seen from a Pacers squad in I don't know how long. I would honestly date it back to, Malice at the Palace days. Like, where we had that dog in the locker room, where we had that, versatile defender, that lob threat, that, point guard or just guard in general that just looked different on nights. Like, this is a squad where I can see in the next, 3 to 5 years is going to be like in like conference finals, consecutively.
Tyrese and Benedict are a deadly, shall I say, spooky duo.
They are scary. Oh, it's scary hours for sure when it's them on the court. I'll tell you
I
what.
agree.
And it's just like, not to go way too into it, but like, that a backcourt is like that is what you need for future ball, because you need to have a point guard who is both assertive but knows when to pass it and stuff. I feel like in the last couple of years, when the LeBron era and stuff, you had like players who were just super, super hyper elite at passing at the guard position.
Yes.
Like like you have the Chris Paul, you have the Rajon Rondos, you have the Jason Kidds, you have so many guys who are just like really, really, really hyper elite at passing, but weren't super assertive on the offensive side of the ball. You know what I mean?
No, Chris Paul, but
Chris Paul.
Rondo's not shooting threes.
Yeah, Rondo. Nobody's gonna be like, oh, Rondo might drop 35 on us tonight. Like, ooh,
I would be freaking out.
You know what I mean?
World.
Like, I'm not scared about that. But like, I feel like for future ball, you need to have somebody who might not be hyper elite. At that one thing, that being passing, when it comes to the guard position, but somebody who could do both. And I feel like the person who brought that kind of level of play in, or that level of that kind of archetype of player in, has been Steph Curry. Like the ability to just like absolutely light it up, but still play make, but in like different ways. Like he playmakes by just the gravity of his shooting. You know, he playmakes by, you know, his, you know, passing just straight up. Like, you know what I mean? He's just like really good. So like, again, this Pacers team, I can go on and on for hours.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness, I am so excited. It's fun. I'm scared though. We need to start losing games. Like it's fun.
We do need to lose more.
I'm having fun right now, but y'all quit playing. I'm not
gonna say we're tanking, but coming close. Yeah, please. We're tanking. We need to lose. We want Victor.
Yeah.
The only way this team gets better is if we add a very nice key player in the NBA draft.
That's the only way.
We would prefer it to be Victor, but you know, there's still some nice
there's some
talent.
nice guys and stuff, but like, you know, we want the Wemby.
We're not winning over 25 games. That'd be
hope
very, very bad if we did.
I feel like we can though. Like if
Absolutely.
we really wanted to win, like, you know, we could probably get a play-in spot at least with the squad. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you.
Eastern Conference isn't scaring me that much.
You know, I mean,
we just beat Brooklyn.
I just don't know with this Eastern Conference. That's what's fun about this NBA season, Kobe Clark.
It's interesting.
It's interesting. It's unpredictable. You never know who's like, you know, the Lakers and the Nets.
Have they won a game?
The Lakers just won the game against the Nuggets last night. Like it's
they
crazy.
beat Denver.
Like out of all
how?
games, right? Exactly.
Whatever.
Even like you go back to even Denver. Denver's not looking super great. Like the Warriors don't look great. You know, the Nets are like 1-5, and all of those teams have players who've been like really good. Even the 76ers have got to a fairly slow start. Like there's so many teams, and then you have like the Utah Jazz, like, you know, like third in the conference. Like what is happening?
It's actually funny because I'm looking at the standings right now, and a lot of the teams at the top make a lot of sense. Milwaukee, undefeated.
Yep.
Cleveland, they brought Spada. Boston, Atlanta. How is Philly, Miami, Chicago, and Brooklyn all down there?
It's wild, right?
It's so weird.
It's so weird, and that's what I love about it. I feel like this is going to be one of the best seasons in the
Portland.
last couple of years. Yeah, and then you go to the Western Conference. You have Portland. Okay, the Suns make sense, you know, and then you have the Spurs, led by, you know, Keldon Johnson, who has been having. Shout out Keldon.
I didn't even
Johnson.
see them. I like Keldon.
I wanted the Pacers to pick him up so bad in the draft. Oh, and I'm so mad. I'm happy that what he's doing right now for him.
Good for them.
Like, man, I really wanted that on my team.
Wow, what a weird. It's always so funny seeing it like in the first 2 weeks, even first month of an NBA season, because you got the Warriors out, you got the Clippers still out. They're a weird team. Lakers, like Kings and Rockets, they're respected down there, but Minnesota, like Denver and Dallas. So.
It's just strange. It's just not.
Utah,
normal.
get down there. What are you doing up there?
Yeah, exactly. Like what's happening? Like, bro.
Shout out New Orleans.
Yeah, but hopefully Spurs, Jazz continue to win, because that means another team that's not in the lottery for Wemby.
Absolutely.
But yeah, again, like this NBA season is going to be looking up really good. Wemby, come to the Pacers. We need you, bro. Pacers, listen. I'm gonna need y'all to take some L's. Let's quit playing.
There's last thing we talk about today before we get on out of here. We're already running over time, but hey, we're all good. This came from the Adrian Wojnarowski podcast, the Woj Pod. According to, this is from, and I quote, Miles Turner. If I'm the Lakers, I take a very hard look at this with the position that you're in. I know what I can provide for a team. This is what Miles Turner had to say on if the Los Angeles Lakers should be doing the reported deals that have been rumored around Twitter and everywhere on the social media apps with the NBA for him and Buddy Hield. The Lakers are not doing great. They need weapons. They need shooters. This might be the worst team I've ever seen, and I mean that. Lakers, LeBron, they're bad. Do they do this trade for Miles Turner and Buddy Hield?
I thought that was a direct quote from Miles Turner that
no.
saying. I was about to say, there's no way Miles Turner said that.
No. He only said if I'm the Lakers, I take a very hard look at this. And then I could provide a team. Everything else I added.
I was about to be like, dang, Miles Turner being brutally honest.
I said this is what Miles Turner had to say, didn't I? I don't remember.
I feel like
he didn't do all that.
Stuff.
You can go look at it on Woj's Twitter, but
for sure.
And listen to him on the pod. Pretty good pod.
So, I think Miles Turner did tweet out like not too long ago, like, you know, maybe like an hour and a half ago, maybe 2 hours now, that he was like, "Oh, make sure just listen to the podcast," because a lot of people were kind of upset with Miles Turner and what he said. Which is kind of understandable. You know, like if you take the clip, you know, the section of him talking out of context, it kind of sounds like he's requesting a trade from the Pacers, but I think that's far from what he's asking. But like with Miles Turner, in the trade in particular, and basically it's revolving around like obviously Miles Turner, Buddy Hield, the 2 picks, and then Russell Westbrook. I don't know if I like that trade. Here's why.
For the Pacers, the Lakers.
For the Pacers. Obviously, the Lakers, that would be fantastic. They would be jumping for joy. They'll be like, just.
I think we would be jumping for joy. I mean, when LeBron retires or his son gets drafted, he's gone. This team will be bad again. 2027 and 2029 first-round picks. They won't have first-round picks for the next 5 years.
But here's the thing. How many times have the Lakers built around, actual prospects that they've drafted? Rarely have they had teams that they've
Well, obviously there's Coby.
Mm-hmm. There's Coby.
They traded D'Lo. They traded LeBron, or not LeBron, Zoe, Brandon Ingram.
Yeah,
they're not good without, I think, really Coby.
Exactly. So there's not any team, and technically they didn't even really draft him.
They traded for Coby.
They traded for Coby. Exactly.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying.
I forgot about that.
You see what I'm saying? I'm saying the Lakers. I can't see the Lakers just being idle and just being bad, up until 2027, 2029, because, who knows? They're the Lakers, and, LeBron's going to be off the books, AD's going to be off the books, Russell Westbrook's going to be off the books. There's going to be so much cap space in the next couple of years. There might make a trade for somebody, or just straight up sign somebody out of free agency who just wants to be a Laker and just wants to win in the Lakers uni. That just messes this whole plan up. You know what I mean? Because obviously the Lakers kind of know that they're going to be bad right after, LeBron leaves. They know they're just going to be a bad team. So that's why they're holding on to the picks. However, again, if they make a trade for, they trade AD or something like that, and then they're
there's picks right there.
Yeah, there's picks right there. You know what I mean?
But they're not going to be good picks.
Exactly.
Maybe.
So that's the thing. It's just such a high risk, high reward thing for the Pacers that I think that you might look for another trade in another team for Miles Turner. Even though the Lakers don't want him, they don't have the asset, I feel to get him, because again, Miles Turner has increased his trade value a lot. Buddy Hield has skyrocketed his trade value.
Oh, he'll be gone.
Yeah. So
Thank you, buddy. We appreciate all the good things.
I love Buddy Hield. I actually love watching him play for this Pacers. And then low-key gonna hurt just a little bit inside of me, just being dang, Buddy Hield's just so nice.
We could really use. Hey, he can come back in 5 years.
Hey, come back. Hey, you're more than welcome. I'll drop by you a drink, Buddy Hield, please. But yeah, it's just something that's just kind of I don't know about that trade, but I do think that we should field trades most definitely for Buddy Hield and possibly see what the market has for Miles Turner. But I'm not sure if it's for the Lakers unless it's in a 3-team deal.
I think there is a 3-team deal here happening.
I think there is. I think there is too.
I see this. This is a tweet that's circulating the NBA Twitter right now. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Not official. It's not even a high level person who put this out. But I love this idea. It involves the Lakers, Pacers, and Spurs. And this absolutely, Lakers, I think the Pacers will win this trade if done right. Mm-hmm. And obviously the Spurs want to lose. I think this helps out the Lakers. Absolutely. Because it involves the Pacers acquiring Russell Westbrook, which is just 1 year of Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
He may be, he might pull a John Wall and not play.
Exactly.
Who knows? Russell Westbrook and the 29 and 2027 first round picks. The Spurs would get Pat Bev, Kendrick Nunn, all on expiring contracts, and a 2023 second-round pick. The players the Lakers will be acquiring here will make them the absolute most deep team. Turner, Buddy Hield, Doug McDermott, former Pacer, Josh Richardson. I mean, right there, all of them can't shoot. You have speed, length,
defense,
rebounding. That's what this Lakers team needs. They need a Doug McDermott. He shouldn't be on this team. Miles Turner needs to go. It's time. He's been getting rumored to be traded since he was with Paul George.
Yeah, exactly.
Josh Richardson, he's been a really good piece ever since he came out of Tennessee and Miami, and then he's been shuffling around the league for some reason. And Buddy Hield, everyone knows about Buddy Hield.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if that trade is it. What did the Pacers get back again?
They'll get Westbrook and 29 and 20 first-round picks unprotected. That's huge. I think easily, if the Lakers are dumb enough, no, for real, because you got to think they're going championship or bust. If they don't win a championship this year, if they make this trade, it's an L. You know why? Because not only you're missing out on a championship, you have one more year with LeBron until his son goes wherever, and then you're going to be probably the worst franchise with no picks from 2024 until 2020. 8 or 9.
Yeah, and I think that I'm not sure about that that trade specifically, but a 3-team deal that's
Something like
extremely
that.
similar to that one is 100% possible. Again,
Absolutely.
I'm sure there's a team out there who's either tanking or looking to tank that could throw some picks throw some picks here or there, throw some players here or there, veteran players. And I think there is a trade in the mix to where Turner and Hill could be on the Lakers, but I don't think it's just a straight up team trade. I think it's going to have more teams involved.
Absolutely. And we'll find out. I mean, it's kind of cool.
Something's going to happen.
Just seeing all this stuff. Miles Turner also said that Tyrese Halliburton is a guy that will be a Chris Paul type of player. And if he's anything like Chris Paul, minus the championships, I hope that wins. I hope he can win us a championship. That'd be cool.
That would be so. Again, I'd be so irrational. Oh,
it'd be insane.
I'll be. We don't gotta get into that, but it'll be good.
Good show today, Joe.
Yeah,
very good show. I think we talked a whole lot well about what's going on here on local with the Indiana State football, men's and women's basketball. Talked a little about the Colts and wrapping it up with something else, the Pacers.
Love to see it, man.
Absolutely.
Love to talk with you as always, man.
I love to see you, man. I'm saying what?
What'd you say?
No, what'd you say?
One of the favorite parts of my week is talking sports with you. What
did
you say?
I said I love to see you and talk with you.
Okay, thank you.
Don't go back and listen to this.
Okay, gotcha. Heard.
Anyway, I hope everyone has a great, fun, safe Halloween. I mean, just be safe. That's all I'm asking. Be safe. That's all we want to see from you guys. Go have a great time. I'm going to get out of here. I'm hungry. I want to go do some homework. I got to make my night a little bit easier. Joe, I bet you, a science major, you're freaking out.
It is. I'm always freaking out. Always. Never chill. Just always high blood pressure around these parts, man.
And being a Colts and Pacers fan doesn't help that.
Not even a little bit, man.
Hey,
not even a little bit.
It's okay. It's okay. Everybody, please go get out your phone whenever you can. Go on all of our social medias. Hit like, follow, subscribe. All of it. Joe's doing it right now if you're watching on our Twitch, which is just one of many social medias that we can provide you. I mean, heck, our last TikTok has almost 50,000 views. That's huge. Go check it out. WZIS-FM. You'll love it, I promise. I think the last thing I got to talk about is there's a football game this Saturday. Me and Blake will be on the call. And then tomorrow night, we're the only people that will be live calling the game tomorrow. WZIS has you covered. If you cannot make it to the exhibition game, you can listen right here, 7 p.m. with a pregame show at 6:45. I mean, we're just trying to, put a lot of effort out here. I think we really try. Everyone here
100%
pulls their own weight, and I think we're all very much killing it, to say the least.
You're doing a great job.
Joe kills it. I kill it. Shout out Gavin, Callie, Blake, Zach, Hannah, Lyric. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody.
Just shout out all of them. Man.
Shout out everybody.
Everybody with WZIS. And why not join us, man?
Absolutely. Please join us. It's awesome. Third floor, Treasure Hall. I always say it. Hey, man. For Joe, you got any last words before we get on out here? I probably already know what they are. 2 words, the famous words.
Go Pacers.
Go Pacers. Hey, and the Saints won tomorrow. They won 24-0. Let's go. For Joe, I've been Coby Clark. See you all next week for a new episode of Sports Extra. Probably from 6 to 7. Stay tuned on our Twitter to follow all the updates. Everyone have a great, safe, fun Halloween holiday. We'll see you all next time. Later.